Cam Shell, I don't have to make the introduction, CEO of Dragonfly, the most cutting edge drone solutions company in the world. I've always said in our interviews, I think there are, 1,000 applications for everything that you guys are capable of doing. How are you going to handle that demand that keeps coming every time you show applications, every time you show solutions, and you have companies come to say, we want that? How are you going to handle that growth?
We always like to be leading edge, but we're obviously very, very focused on revenues. And so we have incredible revenue visibility. If there were multiple Dragonflies out in the market right now, none of them or all of them would not be able to keep up with the demand. And so we have a lot of focus on building out capacity this last year. And it's the primary reason that we did an IPO, was so that we had the capital to build out capacity. So we opened up our new plant here in June in Burnaby, British Columbia. And then we slowed down our plant in Saskatoon because it's going through an entire new upgrade, actually a move and a remodel and a huge expansion there. It'll be back up to speed in August. And so what we're really expecting, what we will see in Q3 is the beginning of that hockey stick curve.
Because you know your pipeline.
We know our pipeline.
So I'm assuming when you say that, and I'm glad you bring that up, because I think it's important for shareholders to know that you had to kind of slow down capacity at Saskatoon just to get it retooled. But you've got, I'm assuming, George Com and ABC and all these companies are saying, Cam, when can you start building for me?
There's about 6 variables in the market that really led to the decisions that we had to do, and when we were going to upgrade plants and bring new products online. So first of all was the regulation around BVLOS about 2.5 years ago, and then even 3 weeks ago the announcement that BVLOS is being streamlined. And so that's brought a whole other raft of customers to the table that are now pushing for these particular products to get into market sooner or later. But the reality is, the very small drones that are out there aren't necessarily applicable to a lot of BVLOS applications. So we had to bring new products online at the same time that we're bringing new plants online over the last 18 months. And while at the same time managing customer expectations and building up that.
It's a tightrope.
It's a complete tightrope.
And you want to make shareholders happy at the same time because you want to grow revenue.
Yeah.
But you've seen this before with other great growth companies, right? They kind of have to plateau while they kind of gear up for the next phase. So it seems like you have a pretty good confidence in what's coming.
If you build a great product and you get the pre-orders, right, which we don't advertise or give a lot of guidance around, then we know we have predictability around what we can build, and it's easier to budget, it's easier to build your product roadmap around. I kind of liken it to playing golf. You can go out and shoot a great score, or you can go out and play golf to become a great golfer. And Dragonfly wants to be a great golfer. So we're not out to get the best score today. We're out to be a great company, which means that we're building and working on certain things like our swing tempo or putting the fundamentals in place so that we can meet the demand that we already have proven, right? So that's really the goal. So we had a flat Q2. And that's because we had a new plant coming online. Yeah. As that plant came online, we brought Saskatoon down. Now Saskatoon will be coming back up into August, and as we go into this current Q, we're gonna see our revenues kind of maintain where they're at. But Q3 is where that business. It's a really exciting time.
In another life, I've got a family food business, and we work with some of the biggest agricultural companies in the world, and even they got to bring down plants one at a time and development in order to upgrade them. So they got a flat line in order to just accelerate the revenue and capacity fall. Yeah. So this is a good problem. This is a good typical problem of great growth companies. You're gearing up to be ready.
The part of this to understand is that we're a true pure manufacturing organization. So it's not like we're bringing parts in and assembling them and you just put more workbenches in. I mean, this is workflow. This is type certification of aircraft. This is injection molding. It's the torque of every screw has to be measured. This isn't. This is true manufacturing at a level where you've got to build in capacity in order to meet demand, and there's a lag there. Now, what is interesting?
Once you get that right, then you can scale.
But that's your moat too, right? That's also
because I can't come George Drones can't suddenly come and say, I'm going to do what Cam's doing.
I can say with every bit of confidence that there are very, very, very few North American drone manufacturers that are pure and true real manufacturers, right? There's assemblers and there's
Right,
competition out there,
right.
but even if there was, nobody can meet the demand right now anyway for the next number of
So
years.
this isn't costing you, right? Like you have to defer or you have to hold off a customer, Georgecom, but they, as much as they want their drones today, they understand
They don't
gotta
have-
wait till Q3 or Q4.
They don't have a lot of choice out there,
Right,
but they have choice around assemblers and things like that. But if they're going to build scalable platforms, right? And most of these customers are large government type of organizations or Fortune 500s with fleets or massive infrastructures they need to inspect or that type of thing. So you got to build for that type of a customer as well.
Devil's advocate, I got to ask you this question though. So there's no doubt that drones are going to play a monster role in our lives going forward. Little doubt that Dragonfly is going to be a significant player in that
We
space.
hope so. Yeah.
But how do you look? You've got growth issues right now, good
Yeah.
growth issues, but you've got to plan
Nonetheless,
for
growth issues.
How are you going to gear up for that? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now.
We'll have our two plants completed here by the end of August. We also have a facility in Texas, which is our air facility, and we have a facility in Sarasota. But with our two plants in particular, they're now completely modularized so that the work that we can do there, we can simply port them into contract manufacturing facilities. But just because of all your ISO certifications and your type certifications and everything you have to do, you have to be able to demonstrate every new little change. Like, I mean, an extra half turn on a screw type of thing.
Wow.
Has to be demonstrated in your plant under total supervision, total data security.
Yeah.
We also have classification issues, and not issues, but things we have to be aware of. And so all of that stuff needs to be managed here before you can export it out and then demonstrate that you can duplicate it. Our two current plants, when they're both online, can internally take us up to manufacturing of somewhere in the neighborhood of about $25 million a year. Now, that's not a lot, compared to the size of the orders and markets and the pipeline that we have right now. But those can now be put into the contract manufacturing facilities, of which we already know who they are and where they're going to go.
Okay, so you've already
right?
had conversations.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these are
Wow,
planned,
nice.
year or two in
So from
advance.
now on in, it's modular. You don't have to
And those scale to the hundreds of millions of dollars of numbers. Now, the other consideration is you start to have your particular product lines, and then you need to now service those customers and stuff. So the rate of innovation, so we'll be focusing on. Let me put it this way: the 3XL drone that we've got out right now, it was designed very specifically to be a drone that can do about 100 different things. Right? It's a Swiss Army knife of drones. It can fit on dozens and dozens of different payloads, right? So it's something that's supposed to not go obsolete. It's kind of like the Humvee or the Jeep,
Right,
yet,
right.
if you will. You can always add on new parts onto it, and we very purposely chose that product first to go with so that it can scale for years and years. And then because as you get more and more customers, you've obviously got increasing costs to support your legacy products and stuff. So there's been years of planning on how we're going to scale this and then try to stay in front of that innovation. Because in this business, like most businesses in tech, innovation is absolutely key. But candidly, right now, innovation is second most important. 2 years ago, innovation was most important. Now that we've got production coming online and those products are being commercialized, and I think we've really nailed, our customers are telling us anyway, that we really nailed the products that they needed to see come out. So we've met regulation where the market was with the product that we had to have. But innovation right now is actually secondary, and the most important thing is production. So nobody can produce enough right now in North America, right? Nobody can produce enough. So that's the key issue now for us, which is why we focus
But
so
I love
hard
the
on
fact
that.
you said you've been planning on this. So we might see all these
Yeah.
Dragonfly modular facilities all over
And-
the world, the Western world, Europe, or
Yeah, you'll certainly see them in NATO type countries. India is going to be a big push for us. We're just getting pulled in there, overwhelmingly pulled in there, which is really exciting.
awesome. That's awesome.
And you'll see some of the. We've got a couple of product announcements coming out this summer and a couple in Q4, but they're all planned for a roadmap that tries to line up where regulatory is going to be and tries to line up where our customer demands are going to be. Dragonfly's been around for 24 years. So every other drone manufacturer in North America has gone out of business. save the last 4 or 5 years where a number of new ones have come to market. And the reason is this very pragmatic approach around, what the market will bear and where the market is actually at. So, the market potential 10 years ago was $20 billion, but, there wasn't regulatory framework for a $20 billion market to unfold. And so a lot of people rushed into the business, myself included, quite frankly. But thank goodness we had a very pragmatic operational team that was like, let's do contract manufacture. Let's just,
the hairs took off, they burned out, you tortoised it.
We just been, and so it's going to be a bit of that. It's a little bit of tortoise mentality, but it's a pretty big tortoise right now.
Yeah, that's a big one. Dan, we can talk for another hour.
You're amazing, George. Thank you I love it. Appreciate it.
You make it so easy because look, we don't have a script, and even just by having just smart, intelligent discussion, look how much we've been able to give the shareholders in terms of the big picture.
Well, I mean, you do such a great job for shareholders, and ultimately that's the job, right? Is we're here to create shareholder value. So we appreciate what you do.
Just what you've done so far has been amazing. But now that we're getting a great look at the path a little bit, you've given us a little bit of insight without giving too much detail. Thanks for taking the time with everybody.
Everything.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it, George. Thank you.
And I can't wait to have our little talk in a couple of weeks.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Look forward to it.
Continued success, and for everybody at home, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to ask your questions either on Twitter or the Dragonfly forum on Agoracom, because Cam and his team are always available, accessible. Take advantage. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Buddy.
We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.